I'm Amber from the Event Center, and this is Jody from Arts and Crafts.
Hi.
And we're here to give you a virtual painting class. We know that times are stressful right now, and we want to make sure that we can do our part to keep our community connected even as we are social distancing. This is the painting that we're going to start out doing. You'll notice it has a lot of texturing and it's very spring oriented because even though, like I said, these are very trying times, it is the time of spring, renewal, Easter, everything fun and happy. So we're going to start by making a giant mess with the green. You should have 2 brushes in your package. You're gonna have this, and so the other brush that you'll have in your kit is this round brush right here. You're gonna use this for all the detail work on the bee and the flower. So what we're gonna do now, take that flat brush I'm missing, dip it in that green that you have in your kit, and you're just gonna make a big old mess on this canvas. This is all about, this is all about texture here. You wanna give the impression that it's a spring painting, that it's outside. And while we're doing this, you can also take other colors. So you should also have a yellow in your kit. You can take some of that yellow to make a lighter green. And this is what the plates are for, by the way, for your mixing. And you can take that, and you see it gives you a different texture. So you're gonna do this until you cover from the top of the painting to the bottom. Okay, so now that you've got your background finished and it's dried, we're gonna move on to blocking out the flower. So you're gonna take your pink, and if you're happy with the pink that you have, you're fine with that. Or if you wanna make it a little bit darker so you can build on the lightness, you can blend it with your black. This is a nice cheerful pink, so I'm just gonna leave it like it is. And we're gonna go, you might have to lift it up if you're using an easel. If you have it on the table, you're probably fine. And we're just gonna go and make the very first petal. And it's okay if it doesn't cover all that green at first. As acrylic dries, you can cover it again with more coats until you get the layer of coverage that you want. We're gonna come in again with another petal here. And we're gonna keep doing this until we fill out the flower shape that we want. You'll notice I'm not being that careful when I do this, guys. It's a flower. Nature's not perfect, neither are we. So it's fine if you mess up. They're all happy little accidents, in the words of my very favorite painter, Bob Ross. I will never reach that level myself, however I do aspire to. Not really, he's epic, guys, don't hold me to that. So for the second row of petals, we're gonna do a little bit of black with the pink to make it slightly darker to show that it's shaded. And we're just gonna come in and we're gonna do smaller petal shapes. And it's okay that it's coming in more black than pink, because like I said, we can just go over it until we get the exact color we want. And you just keep doing this until you have the basic shape of the flower that you want. And once you've achieved that, we'll work on the details. Okay, so once you've got the basic outline of how you want your petals, you're gonna take your brush, you're gonna clean it in your water. No, we did not provide you with cups or water. Hopefully you have that wherever you're at. If not, call, we'll send help. Don't hold me to that, guys, I don't know where you're at. Okay, I won't be here on base, I can't send help. But seriously, you should have some water, so hopefully you can do this. If not, you can just wipe it off on a towel and hope for the best. Once we get to this stage, we're gonna take the black and we're gonna lay the basis for whatever the center part of the flower is called. It's been a while since I took, grade school biology or whatever. But this part right here with the stems and the stamens and yeah, that part. And we're just gonna do a big old half circle. And it's gonna be messy because we're gonna be putting all of those stamens on there. Look, I know science words, guys. Aren't you glad? I'm glad. I'm educated, I promise. And we're gonna build that up because you wanna have some background to give some depth to your stamens when you add them onto the painting. So while we're waiting on that to dry, I wanted to go over the fact that this is your painting. You can change whatever you want. So if you're not happy with all the green and yellow in the background, you can take, like, say this blue, mix it with the white to get a nice sky color. Maybe, possibly, there we go. And you can add some blue texture in with the leaves to where it looks like the sky is peeking through. It is completely up to you guys. This is your art. Art's subjective, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. All of the cliched sayings, but whatever you bring, it's gonna be great. And it's gonna be awesome because you made it and nobody else's painting, even though they're all watching the same video, is gonna be like yours. It's unique and individual, just like each and every one of you. All right, so now that it's dried, we can go into doing some of the detail work. We're gonna take the black with our round brush, or if you want, sometimes I get a better line with my flat brush. So we're gonna do it both ways here for you really fast. You're gonna take that and you're gonna trace along the edge of your petal, just to give it a little more definition against the textured background. So that's what it's like with the round brush. Now to do it with the flat brush, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have a good solid edge on it. You're gonna tip it into the black very gently. And you're just gonna trace down just using that edge. Now this is gonna give you a little more of a shaded effect because as you can see, it spreads a little bit wider there as you get to your curve, which is actually really good for the petals. It takes some of that work out for you. We're gonna keep doing this until we have all of the petals outlined. Okay, so now that we have all that outlined, we're gonna do the shading on the flower. You'll notice on these petals, they have dark and light spots. We're gonna start by doing the dark spots. You're gonna take your pink, get a nice good amount on your brush, and just a very little bit of black, so a little bit goes a very long way. You're gonna keep mixing it until you get a nice darkish shade. A little bit too much black there, see what I mean about it going a long way, guys? And you're gonna take this, and you're just gonna do some swoops. And again, don't worry if you feel like you put too much or not enough. You can touch this up later. You can throw some more pink on it, some more light. And we just wanna add a little bit of depth to each of these petals. So we're just taking it, going over it. On the darker petals on the bottom, instead of taking more shade to them, maybe you wanna take the light pink to it. And you guys, if you don't wanna do a pink flower, if you have other paint at home, or you wanna mix your colors and come up with your own concoction to make your flower, that's fine. This is your art, and I'm really excited to see what you do with it. Now that we have the shading on, we're gonna take our white, and we're gonna add the strips of highlight. So we're just gonna go around where the light might be hitting the petals at. And again, like I said, don't worry if you mess it up because you can always do more later. So we're just gonna come through, we're gonna hit each petal with just a little bit. Even the ones down at the bottom. Next, we get to the fun part, guys. Are you excited? I am, because I'm gonna show you this trick. So there's two ways that you can do the next part the same. And you can either use a small round brush, and you can do the dark orange layer first, followed by a red dot, or you can take your flat brush. Again, make sure you get that pointy edge on it. And you're gonna take this, you're gonna dip half of it in the orange. So the bottom half right there. And you're just gonna barely get the other tip in the yellow. You're gonna take it up to the painting like this. Make sure you hold it the right way, yellow on top. And you're just gonna start just tapping that until you fill up this whole layer. And not just the layer, you also want it to take up the whole entire top of the flower. So I'll visit back with you when I've got it done and show you what it looks like. Okay, so we have the stamens finished on the flower. We have our highlights, our outlining, and our shading. It's time to start on the bee. For this one, you're definitely wanting to use the round brush. You're gonna want that point for your detail work, and you can also use the sides to fill in the larger portions faster. So we're gonna start by doing the head. So we're gonna dip into this black, get a nice thick layer of it, and you're just gonna come and somewhere around the flower, just go for it. You're gonna wanna do a slightly lopsided oval. And then you're gonna want to put in the antennas and proboscis, is that what it's called? Whatever the little mouthy things on bees are called. Now once we get that done, it's time to clean our brush and switch over to yellow for the next layer of the bee. Make sure you dry it in between switching paint so you don't carry any of that dirty water over and change your color. Again, we're gonna get a nice thick coat of yellow. We're gonna come in and we're gonna start, this is kind of a semicircle, like a piece of a pie chart right here. And again, it's okay that it's not covering the green at first. Once it dries, we'll do a second coat of it and it'll cover more than it does. After we get that, we're gonna switch back to the black. If you have two brushes, this will go a lot faster. You can just switch back and forth between all of them. But right now, we're just gonna work with what we have. So we're gonna go in, and right here, this is also where the wings are gonna connect. So this is a slightly smaller piece of the pie chart that is our bumblebee. Don't ask, I don't know what pie charts actually have to do with bumblebees, guys. I'm trying here. And we're also gonna put his little front leg right here, just a little tiny, cute little front leg. And then we switch again to yellow. All right, so this is the next big giant part of the bee. This is the big yellow part where you're gonna see most of the little fuzzies on them that get covered with pollen. These are so cute in close-up pictures. They scare the crap out of me in real life. All right, and now we're switching to black and we're getting to the part that has the stinger, my most not favorite part of a bee. There's this one time in grade school, guys, I got stung and my foot, it got huge. It was like the size of a football. I couldn't wear shoes for 2 weeks, but that's not the case with this because it's not a real bee, so we like this bee. It's very friendly. So we have the little stinger and now we have to do the back leg. Now this connects right where the stinger and this yellow right here is. So we're gonna take it forward a little bit and then just bring it down. And then we wait for this to dry. We do the details in the wing. All right, so now that it's dried, we're gonna start putting in some of the details. For the face, you're gonna wanna make sure that you get your point very, very solid. So, I don't know if that actually helps or not, guys. I saw it on a makeup video once. So you're gonna come in here and you're just gonna give it a nice little eye. And then we're gonna start adding little fuzzies, because these are fuzzies. And they're just little tiny white spots. And again, if you do too many or you don't like where they fall, you can always go in with black over them later to cover them up. So we've got the impression of fuzzies on the face, and I will probably fix these on top because I don't like them. And now we're gonna go in and start adding some of the shading on the yellow. So you'll notice on the yellow, on the original painting, we have some orange on the top. So we're gonna load our brush with the orange. We're gonna come in and we're just gonna do dabs of it here, because we wanna keep that texture of fur there, guys. And we're not gonna worry about how right here it blends with the green, because bees have wings. How handy is that, right? Then we go in, we add some orange down here on this yellow too. And again, how you hold your brush and how you hit it, that's what determines your texture. So you can see I'm just dabbing and I'm letting the point fray a little bit compared to that point that we had for the white hairs. And that's what's giving it the furry texture right there. So then we're gonna switch colors back to the white. We're gonna start touching up the black. Again, we have that fine point. We're gonna go in and we're doing little tiny, or not so tiny, white dabs for fur. And like I said, we can always go in with the black and clean up any spots that maybe drop too much. Now on the stinger, there's two big white bands. So we're just gonna block those out. And if at this point in time with your painting, your paint's starting to dry out a little, you can just add some water to it, and that'll get it to flow a lot better for you. All right, so now we have the fuzzies in, we have the orange showing the shading on the yellow in. It's time to do the wings. So the wings actually fall down here in the black, but what we're gonna do for this one, since I'm not an insect expert anyways, I'm gonna start it up here where you can't really see the edge of that. You're gonna do a straight line up, gonna give it kind of a squarish tip, pull that down. Fill that in, another squarish tip, bring it in, and another one, till you have your basic shape of the wing. Now you can leave it like this, or you can go in with your round tip and your black, and you can give it a little more detail. So if you've ever actually looked closely at like a bee's wing or a dragonfly's wing, you'll notice that it's got veins and other things in it. So you can take it and you can very, very finely do a black line going down it. You can show some of the segregations in it. Or not, it's completely up to you. Like I said, it's your bee and it's your level of comfort, how you feel like you can do with your paint. And once you're happy with how your wings look, all that's left is just a little bit more on the background. And I think that just about does it for my wings. Okay, so now that we've got the bee done and the flower, we're just left with adding little things to the background. Like let's say you want to add little round sparkles of light, pollen, whatever it might be. Just go in anywhere that you feel like it, put in little circles. Maybe you want to do speckles of sunlight, do yellow and white instead. Again, just little round circles. Now I want to stress right now, you guys, no two paintings are ever the same. These two that I've done, I did only a day apart, and there's a huge difference between them. So if your painting and mine don't look the same, that's absolutely fine. There's a very good chance your painting's gonna look better than mine, to tell the truth. And then if you don't like how it looks on the bottom, you can see on the first one how I did the blades of grass and the darkness to show some shading. You can do that, or you can leave it like this. If you do want to do the leaves and the shading, it's really easy. You just take your square brush, you're gonna pick up some green, just a little bit of black on that corner, and you're just gonna come in. And again, kind of the basic thing that we did in the beginning with the very straight strokes. Just get those in there where you feel like you want them. And that's all you do. And you're done. I hope you had fun. Post these on our pages. Let me see what you did. Thanks.